Hi, I'm Professor Lori Cohn. I'm the Dean of the Clinical Programs here at GW. And on top of that, I run the Family Justice Litigation Clinic. And in this short video, we want to tell you a little bit about the clinic, just so you know what we do and what the experience of being a student in the clinic is like. So in the clinic, we focus on access to justice in the context of family law and domestic violence. And that means that we work in a few different areas. First and foremost, students do work that involves mostly litigation. That is sort of the largest part of their work in the clinic. And that litigation is adversarial. There's longer term litigation cases, which look more like family law cases like adoption, custody, divorce, child support. And then we do work on shorter litigation cases like protection orders and domestic violence matters. And we also enter limited appearances in some cases that involve us acting as guardians ad litem or helping people in probate cases. Students in the clinic also do mediation work, and they do mediation work with pro se parties in family court in DC. So in that context, they have the opportunity to work with two parties and try and help them reach a resolution, and therefore not have to go through the long drawn out process that adversarial litigation involves. And the third area in which we work on access to justice is in our pro se outreach programs. And in the context of those outreach programs, we work with pro se parties, contacting them and trying to get their cases to move more expeditiously through the court and to allow them to understand what's going on in the court system and to file the right paperwork to just make sure those cases actually get resolved. The Family Justice Litigation Clinic also involves a seminar. Like all of the clinics at GW, there's a 2-hour-a-week seminar. And in that seminar, we focus on a range of topics that help prepare you for practice after law school, but also for the practice that you do in the context of the clinic. So that seminar involves us teaching you the law, the substantive law that you need to handle the cases that you're working on. We also focus on skills. As I said, this is a litigation clinic. So we do some pre-trial work where you learn to write a complaint, motions, discovery, but also in the context of the clinic seminar, we focus on skills, how to do an opening statement, how to craft a closing argument, how to draft a direct examination, a cross-examination, and to also negotiate. Throughout the seminar, we focus on teaching students client-centered lawyering, how to advise and interview your client in a client-centered way that really focuses on what your client's needs are and how to best achieve those goals for your client. In the seminar, we also talk about system reform and access to justice. In the context of your casework, you get a really interesting and insightful look into how the court system works. Is it just? Is it unjust? Where are the ways that it is that access to justice is denied for people? How are people treated differently based on the capital they bring into the court system? How does race, how does gender play a role in the court system? And we consider all of those issues as well. And we do that in the context of readings and our own discussions, but we also have guest speakers. We have judges, we have prosecutors and psychologists who come in and talk to us and allow us to brainstorm those very issues. I talked about the nature of the casework. The other thing I just want to offer is that the nature of the way you work on cases in the clinic is very different from the way you work on cases when you're, for example, at a field placement or an internship or a summer job. In the clinic, you are certified to be the lawyer on the case. You are the lawyer. So that means that you're not just supporting a lawyer doing legal work. You are the lawyer. You're the one that the client calls when there's a problem. You're the one who does the opening statement, that crosses the witness. You're the one in court that the judge is going to look at when the judge needs an argument on a particular issue. That is your role. Students generally work in teams of 2 that they work with a partner for the entire semester. And of course, you are supervised. You're supervised really closely. We are here to support you, to help you become the lawyer that you want to be, and to do the best possible work on behalf of your client. A few of things about the nuts and bolts. The Family Justice Litigation Clinic is a one-semester clinic for 6 credits. And the way that those credits work out, it's about 270 hours of work per semester that are required by the American Bar Association. Students may log a few fewer of those hours, and sometimes they log a little bit more, but it usually ends up being, with class time and reading for class time included, about 20 hours a week that ebbs and flows during the course of the semester. 2Ls, 3Ls, and 4Ls are all eligible, but we do give a preference to graduating students to make sure that we maximize the number of opportunities for students before they graduate. And these are graded credits. I think you have the opportunity still under the law school rules to opt, if you have enough credits, to opt for credit, no credit, but these are otherwise graded credits. And the clinic curve is a high curve. It's higher than the small class seminar, but we do still grade on a curve. So that's about the nuts and bolts. And now I'm going to actually invite Lena Streisand to join me here. Lena is in the clinic this semester. Lena actually is now in her 2nd semester in the clinic. We have a few spots for students who continue after the 1st semester. And I invited Lena just to talk about her experience in the clinic. So Lena, can you talk a little bit about your casework and what your sort of day-to-day life is as a clinic student?
Definitely. So I think the most important thing is that you really are the lawyer. So day to day, I speak with our client, I draft motions or prepare for trial. Right now, we are preparing for trial, our 2nd hearing in this case. And so I think, we draft items. I talk with my team every day. We speak with our client, and mostly we work on the case. So our case is pretty complex. It has 3 different issues, so there's constantly something happening.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about what it is at this point you feel as though you're taking away from the clinic? What do you, I guess 2 questions. What are you sort of most satisfied about? What brings you the most joy about the clinic? And what do you think you're going to take away with you when you graduate?
So I think obviously what makes me the happiest about doing clinic is how fulfilling it is as an experience. I feel like I changed someone's life. And that's not something you can really say about anything else that you get to do in law school. It really is one of the most fulfilling experience I've had in law school. It's also obviously good for your resume. Employers really like it. And it really is the only way to get the experience in law school of what it will be like when you're an actual attorney. And I think that goes into what I am going to take away from it the most. I think it really taught me who I want to be as a lawyer, especially, you have to deal with difficult decisions, and definitely with ethics, and learning sort of the ins and outs of legal ethics and confidentiality and things like that you probably realize that you do as an attorney, but you don't really grapple with. So I think that's been a really valuable experience for me. Obviously, you also get the experience of it, dealing with a legal issue in real life. So that's, people's lives are really complex. And so you get to experience that in real time. And I think it's a good way to train your brain for what's to come after you graduate. I've also learned smaller things like how to be on a team. I had been on teams before, but this is a different kind of collaborative experience. And I think that it's a really valuable learning lesson. Also, you get the experience of drafting court documents. So drafting oral arguments, whether it's your preliminary arguments, procedural motions, an opening, closing. I am currently drafting my cross as well as closing, and that's really valuable because for me, I want to be a litigator, and that's something that I will do definitely once I graduate. And I think also just preparing for trial is something, as a litigator, if you want litigation experience, I don't think I realized how much preparation goes into it. And I know that my former employer was very pleased to hear that I would be getting that experience prior, because many attorneys don't. And, you get to graduate knowing that you've been a lawyer before.
That's really helpful, Lena. Can you talk a little bit, and this is probably my last question for you, can you talk a little bit about some students come to the clinic because they're really interested in family law. Some students come to my clinic because they're interested in litigation. Can you talk about what drew you to the clinic and what you brought with you from law school that made you successful in the clinic?
Definitely. So I came to the clinic interested in litigation as well as family law. I actually came to law school wanting to do family law. And I think I hadn't taken family law, though, before. I was taking it my first semester while I was doing clinic for the first time. And I think things that I brought with me from law school were sort of, my ability to understand the law. You have to read the law, and you don't have to understand family law before you come into the clinic, but you are going to be dealing with reading the law and applying the law and arguing in a legal context. So being able to really, I think the biggest skill I brought with me is legal writing. That was a big part of it.
Great. All right, well, thank you, Lena. Anyone who's interested in learning more about the clinics, make sure that you look at the materials that we have online, and also feel free to reach out to me or to any other faculty in the clinic, and we'd be happy to talk to you more. And thanks so much for watching our video.